fancy intro music. Yeah! Woohoo!
As promised, everybody, we've got the new updates and the notes for this patch right here. And I told you, there's no Vidar-A. No such thing. Why? Because it's got a new name. It's called the Talios. But we'll talk about that in a second. Welcome, everybody, to the Patch 51 patch notes. I'm going to go over all these, which there's some good notes for many of you who've been waiting for several different updates throughout the past few weeks, as well as new content. And I'm going to give you some things that aren't listed in the patch notes, which is the entire reason y'all come to us as content creators, right? Is to get some of that extra information, a little bit of extra sauce. I will go ahead and say good morning to everybody, as this is launching pretty early, and really interested to see what people think about this month. There's a lot here that is can go either way. I don't think it's bad, but I am very curious to see how players react to some of the new things coming, and I think a lot of it, like I said, is good. So let's start with the base notes. The Vidar Talios, as I said, instead of the Vidar-A, you have the Vidar Talios, which is a level 35 plus ship, specifically for you players who've maxed out your Vidar. So a tier 9 Vidar will open up a mission chain that'll start getting you the Talios. Now, the good news is, for all those watching, yes, you can get the Talios 100% free to play this month. Now, the first mission will launch the first week of the M51 here, as it says here in the update, and then you'll have, as the month goes on, later in the month, another mission set will drop, allowing you to go ahead and complete the Talios process. But yes, that does mean that, in fact, you will have to wait throughout the rest of the month if you want to get it now. Now, that's assuming you have a maxed Vidar. What you can opt to do, of course, is to buy it outright and skip that process. But it does have a free-to-play sourcing path immediately in the game. That's something we always ask for. So personally, I think that's a good reason for a big thumbs up. I'm gonna put it right here on my face. Thumbs up. Yay. You like free-to-play path immediately. At least I do. I think free-to-play path is good. So you have new Borg systems here, level 36 plus, what many of you have been asking for. That's a huge bonus. That's a huge thumbs up, right? You've been wanting higher level systems. And yes, you can use the Vidar against those, but the Talios is going to be the main ship to go after those. The ability to take on new armada targets. There's an expansion cube, a new hostile system. Now, the way that that's going to operate, we're going to have a whole video about the new stuff, but in short, you're going to destroy a Borg solo armada with your Talios. That'll actually give the Talios a buff, and then you're going to go take on with your teammates the new expansion cube. New warp system, new research for that, as well as impulse drive for faster impulse speed of the Talios. So the Vidar coming in was one of the fastest ships we had in the game. Talios taking it to the next level. There's the research we're talking about with the warp range, the inert nanoprobe, which is a new prime, as well as the scrapper, the reclamator, etc. All these going to improve the performance of the Talios, and we'll cover that in its own video. The expansion cube, yes, it's a shiny red cube, because we're going with Christmas colors, green and red, apparently. Comes equipped with a gravimetric torpedo hardpoints that deal massive damage to any ship that dares to get in their way. Vidar Talios is the only ship capable of countering this devastating Borg tech by gaining the foreknowledge buff from Borg Sphere solar armadas. Players can gain blah, 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 blah. It's basically a big damage buff. I'm very curious to see if players choose instead to use really big, say, 4-star or 5-star ships instead, but it is designed to let the Talios be the cheapest, most efficient way of going against these new hostiles. So again, very curious to see what will players choose to use against these. Yeah, expansion cube rewards. We got 3 new officers, including 2 of them sourced through this new loop, which I actually am really excited about these officers because we've got the Borg PvP set. It's kind of like them. We'll talk about it in a second. Borg SA directives, Talios, loot consumable, charged nanoprobes, obviously going to be a big deal, etc. New officers. So this brings a new state to the game. So we've got morale, hull breach, and burning, and now add assimilated. So an assimilate state will now be a background proc that gets attached to your ship or an opponent ship. The neat thing about this is it's actually applied by Dezok right here as a below deck ability. So this is adding a PvP element to below deck officers. Very interesting to see how this plays out. Now they do have officer abilities. Let's start with the Borg Queen. Increases your crit hit chance when you're hit by a Borg solo armada that is cumulative, so giving you another critical build, which has been the meta for these Borg. So that third ship, you know, hey, we've got Cisco, we've got Khan. Who else can we add on there? Borg Queen. So now we're talking about maybe running 5, 7 Borg Queen, freeing up Khan to go somewhere else. Below deck ability when fighting a player with Assimilate increases the ship's piercing stats. So that's very interesting. And then finally, we've got a assimilated Ferengi. Officer ability when fighting as a Borg solo, end of each round, reduces critical damage. I'm not super big on that one. Then officer ability, you're going to get a mitigation boost. So again, cumulative. Very curious to see how these work in action. You have 11 new missions. You will have some of those that lock behind level 50 plus. Keep that in mind. So you had that last month, kind of confused some people. We have 3 new refits. I can't say that I'm like really caring personally, but some people like them. Amalgam and the Stella both getting refit. The refits do look really cool. They're assimilating, getting a bonus to both of their abilities, and the Cerritos is getting cloaking. So that's something. New Prime, new Elite Recruit Prime. Greatly improves the officer yields in the FKR Elite. Huh. Yay, they were so bad when they launched. Guess what? We got a Prime to fix it. That's what Rev will not be purchasing. How about you just fix it? Thanks. That'd be greatly appreciated. Frames and avatars. Some of these actually are really, really cool. We'll talk about those. The new hailing frequency system, which is an emote system in Galaxy. Again, you tell me if that's something that you're excited about as a player personally. I can kind of take it or leave it. I don't think it's a bad thing, but at the same time, I don't really care. So real curious to see what y'all think about that. In fact, this is going to be over my face real quick, but comment down below. Are you excited about that at all? Do you care? Will you use it? But you do have a new way to communicate in space with different players. So it's cool. I mean, it's real-time communication. So, I mean, it's something. I'm sure somebody will enjoy it and know there's no profane things or anything. Thumbs up, thumbs down. You know, you have a couple of epic ones here, some uncommon, some rares. You can unlock them through various, you know, event structures, things like that. Real interested to see if people use that. I'm just to be honest. This is one of those, like, when I was hesitant to like really say good, bad in the beginning. I just don't know if this is a positive or a negative. I don't necessarily think it's a negative. It's just, you know, how many players actually use it. I'm curious to see it in operation. So scroll down. This is actually, I wanted to get to the bug fixes because even though I think the content is good, there's a lot of really big deal stuff in here. So fix an issue with some of the missions. No big deal. Here's a big one. Y'all been asking for forever. I told y'all should come this month, but the Orion Corvette research node should be fixed for everybody's field training. Thank you. Not thank you, Scopa, that you fixed it. Thank you that I no longer have to receive literally dozens of DMs every single day. I'm so happy. Like, I legitimately am happy about that. The next gen Troy issue that was in field training also getting adjusted. Fixed issue with a blank screen appears for an achievement where progress is not displayed. I mean, this is a very loaded bug fix patch. I'm very appreciative. Now, there's some of them are just mission related, but I'll take anything. Issue with Bajoran credit bundle costs are not consistent. Love it. We're upgrading Borg officer. XP's not listed. Love it. All this. Really, really like it. Fleet commander reward screen not appearing when slot 2 at unlock 40, which I hadn't even got near, but still I appreciate the fix. But an issue with the Armada name and details overlaps with the 3D art. All of these. Some of these are something that many of you would say is not important. Some would say is. This is a huge one, where Officer Gotcha Explosion displays confusing numbers for amount of shards. Yeah, a lot of y'all have been getting displays that you're getting something and you're not getting something. Supposedly, that is getting fixed. I'm really hoping that is true. Warp range mismatch. Again, lots of bug fixes. This is actually one of the most thorough bug fix months we've had in a while, so I got to say a big thank you to that. Then we have improvements. Adding Armada to the list of targets to check for auto consumables on battle complete. Interesting. Improvement to remove the keyboard pop-ups where pips for building a new ship should dismiss when player leaves construction screen. Avatar pip should dismiss, which I'm going to lose that again. I guess I'm finally losing them. Tap and hold VFX timing. Remember the pip for promoting officers should dismiss once you leave the officer screen. Hopefully I can get rid of those stupid trait pips and vent store and then localization issues. So there you go. This is, in terms of feature, it's all built around the Talios, more Borg, and yes, more Borg grinding. A couple of those things I wanted to mention. is, as I was talking to them, the Talios is immediately going to be easier to grind with than the Vidar, as in, like if you're a level 35 player, I was talking to many of you taking 70, 80, 90 hostiles to fill up your ship. Going to take a heck of a lot less. In terms of starting cargo size, starting around, I think, 600,000 out of the dock. Cargo size and the ability to fill that up in one hull immediately with far less hostiles than with the Vidar Tier 9. Now, granted, you're going to be hitting bigger hostiles. Now, the big thing, we'll go over crewing with that when we go over a Talios video. Also want to point out that the independent credit and the faction credits here are automatically bigger and better than the Tier 9 Vidar. So getting a Tier 1 Talios means you're already pulling more independent credits. I need to go and verify what it was. We were getting some conflicting answers from the overlords, but it could be around 30% more independent credits starting day one having a Talios, in terms of that's what you're pulling every day. So every little bit there helps. There's also more coming in the mid-month update that I can't tell you about. So not only do you have the Talios coming to help improve the Borg, also give it better payouts in the Borg refinery, increasing a lot of the Borg refinery payouts, but also a lot of fixes and changes there. Now, for those curious, no, there's not really anything added to the Vidar itself. So the goal is still to max the Vidar, get the Talios free to play, or purchase the Talios if you want it now, so that you can jump into some of the new content. But the refinery has been greatly increased, hence the mold being used here. Now, any other details you want, please drop them in the comment section down below. I will try to get as much updated as quickly as possible because I don't like these videos to go too long. There is your nitty gritty. So hopefully you liked it. Let me know what you think. Live long and prosper. I don't know why my camera decided to freeze there. Live long and prosper. Stay safe for those Space Cowboys. Deuces, that's me. Catch you on the next one. We outie. Bye.
An even better outro than the intro. For the Empire and glory to your house.